Am I the asshole for telling my friend that I didn't like her wedding dress? 3 months ago I, 26F, attended 27F's wedding. Her wedding was a destination wedding at a beach venue. When she arrived, she was wearing a puffy bright red dress, the kind you'll see celebrities wearing at the Met Gala. It was very unique and she stood out beautifully, but in my opinion, the dress didn't flatter her, nor the venue, and I personally didn't like it. But I wasn't gonna be the person to tell her that on her wedding day and ruin the night for her, so the rest of the day was very fun and I had an incredible time with her and all of our other friends. My opinion of her dress I kept to myself because I dislike talking behind people's backs, and it isn't my place to tell her what she shouldn't have worn. After all, it was her wedding day and she should wear something she feels amazing in, and I noticed that she had an amazing confident aura wearing that dress and I felt amazing for her. Yesterday, she came to my house to watch a movie with me. Before we started watching, she talked about how her parents told her that her wedding dress didn't look good and that she should have worn a white simple dress. They are a very traditional type. Then she asked me what I honestly thought about her wedding dress, and most respectfully, I told her that while I thought that the dress made her stand out amazingly and it was very unique, in my personal opinion, I wasn't very fond of it and that it did not flatter her. She was quiet for a second, then she got up and left. Even though I tried explaining to her that I didn't mean to offend or insult her, she left in the end. I tried messaging her but I got no response. Today her husband messaged me saying that she cried for hours after I met with her, that I was very disrespectful, and that I had no place to criticize her dress. One of her best friends sent me a long message about how, while he agrees with me, I didn't have to tell her that because it isn't our place, and that I came across as jealous and pathetic. I don't know what to do or say, and I'm having trouble even contemplating whether I was wrong. So what do you think? Am I the asshole? And #X200B. Edit. Someone told me to add this comment reply to my post. At first, I told her that she stood out and looked confident and left it at that, but then she asked me, I didn't ask you if I looked confident or unique. I asked you what you thought about the dress. I didn't want to lie to her since we've always had a very blunt relationship. She's always told me the blunt truth. But keeping in mind that it was obviously a really big day for her, I tried to be kind and sensitive about my honest opinion. But I see that I may have been too rude and not considerate of her feelings. Thank you for your comment. I'll try to make things right with her if she will give me another chance. But also guys, seriously, thank you so much for actually making me realize I was definitely in the wrong. I didn't really think it through many times in my head and just said what I was truthfully feeling, and I understand how wrong it was, especially since it was about something she now couldn't change. I've seen a lot of people saying I could have said something before her wedding, but I wasn't one of her bridesmaids and she said she wanted to keep everything a surprise. Also, we've always had a very honest and blunt kind of relationship, and she's always told me that she dislikes white lies, and if someone asks you something you should always answer it truthfully. This is the woman who told me and my boyfriend of 2 years to break up to our faces because she thought we weren't compatible for each other since he traveled a lot for his work, and although I was upset, looking back I realized that relationship was absolutely going nowhere. This is why I disagree with the comments that say that I should have just lied. I honestly cannot lie to her, and lying about something would make me feel guilty. But I completely take responsibility for talking about the negatives when I should have only spoken about the honest positives. I messaged her if I could meet up with her and she replied saying she was thinking of that too. We're meeting each other in a few hours and I'll try to apologize to her and tell her that it didn't matter what I or her parents thought of her dress. If she felt amazing and confident in it, then that was the perfect dress for her. Thank you for everything. I'll show her this post and we'll update after I've met with her. And #X200B. Edit. Her in-laws wanted her to wear red because in their culture the bride wears red. She didn't want the traditional dress, but they came to a conclusion to at least let the dress be red. I also want to say that when I said it wasn't flattering on her, I meant that the dress didn't match her height, and some parts were loose on her. Not that she and her body was the problem, but more that the dress didn't perfectly fit her. That is what I told her, but I didn't want to go into detail about her in the post, which is why I only said it didn't flatter her. Not the asshole. You kept your opinion to yourself until she approached you and directly asked for your honest opinion. It sounds like you told her your opinion whilst trying not to sound overly mean. You could argue that perhaps lying would have been a better idea, but equally, you could argue that lying would be insulting to your friend. I understand why she's upset, but I don't think you did anything wrong. Not the asshole. She asked for your honest opinion, you gave it. You didn't tell her she shouldn't wear it or it looks stupid. Not the asshole. She asked for your honest opinion and you gave it to her. Not the asshole. Don't ask for a honest opinion if you can't handle an honest answer. Person shrugging light skin tone. Not the asshole. She may have asked for your honest opinion, but she clearly wasn't prepared for honesty and was upset when you didn't tell her what she wanted to hear. I think you need to evaluate if this is someone you want to continue a friendship with. Not only did she have an irrational and immature reaction to your honesty, but now she's bringing other people into it and painting you in a negative light. Not cool. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my husband contribute $10,000 for his sister's wedding? My husband, 33, and I, 32, been married for 5 years and have 2 kids with another on the way. We make decently good money, HHI $300,000, but we haven't been in this money for that long, and we did put the vast majority of our savings for a down payment on a house. We are also in a period of time with high childcare cost. I also have low 6-figure student loan debt and we each have car loans. I would like not to deal with debt our entire life. My SIL, 30, makes over $180,000 for a few years now. Supposedly, her partner's family has money and he is of similar age and earning potential. My husband paid for his sister's master's program. We only spent less than $10K including everything, even accommodation for our own wedding, in part because he was paying her not cheap tuition. She doesn't recognize how much he sacrificed to do so. It's not expected that she will pay that back, and I am fine with that. Most was spent when we're dating and not that much after marriage. When we got married we had a smallish reception in India because his parents wanted it. My SIL didn't come because she wanted to start her internship during the holiday season. Although, we spent $1K on a non-refundable ticket for her. He co-signed and paid the down payment for a loan when we had no money and a bay on the way without really asking. She didn't realize autopay was off, ended degrading his credit score right when we were home shopping, so our mortgage rate is higher than it would have been otherwise and will be for years to come. She is now getting married. My husband gets off the phone with his mom and says we need to sell out investments to give at least $10,000 for his sister's wedding. We have budget about $7,000 already for plane tickets to attend. At least him and 2 kids. I might go, but I will be 3 months postpartum and I am not sure about bringing a newborn on a 24+ hour travel adventure. Another reason why I am the bad guy. Well, anyways. I refused for him to give that money. I said she didn't ask and doesn't need it. She is old enough to have saved or planned something within budget that parties can afford without him contributing. Apparently, the wedding will be more than 1,100 people. He says why do I hate his family and it's tradition for him to help pay. I told him that he has obligation to his family, his kids. He says I am too money-minded and selfish. I said that it is not fair to spend most of our disposable income for THR year on his sister. That his sister is a grown woman and he has already contributed enough to her life. This wedding is a want and not a need. I also pointed out that he wants to spend more money on his sister's wedding than he did even on his own. We will have 3 young children and our own debts. The economy is not stable and we cannot deplete our savings for his sister. Am I the asshole for refusing? Edit 1. His thoughts are that sister's wedding is now. We can take care of our stuff later and he should contribute. I grew up poor. So I know what it feels like for money to disappear. I know that a good job today doesn't mean a good job in the future. We are dual income and one income can cover all expenses if we stopped 401k and took the kids out of daycare, and it would be very tight, hence why savings is important. It is of the thought that our very modest wedding was not because of preference but because we were at a different financial state. But she didn't attend our wedding at the end of the day cause she didn't feel like it was important. For me, as the non-verbals and knowing his father in particular, it's about appearance, and this is his only daughter. The fact the partner's family has money makes him want to measure up to them. If he doesn't push back, his parents will ask him for money, probably without telling his sister, for more and more stuff. I am under the impression that the dad is the one planning it. She is in the US too. Not the asshole, and the big difference between your wedding smells of parents playing favorites. Same for your ILs judging you for not forcing a newborn on a 24 hours trip. Your HB seems to be trying every reason to justify the simple fact he doesn't know how to say no to his parents. Not the asshole entirely. She is his sister, not his dependent. Honestly, 1,100 people at a wedding? I understand it might be cultural thing, but it is a bit insane scale. I wouldn't bring a newborn baby in this madness. Not the asshole. His paying for her masters is more than enough charity. Now she makes more than enough to cover her own wedding. Not the asshole. His parents should understand that his priority is your kids. That money is for their grandchildren, not an adult who has a job. Not the asshole. But please do consider it may be expected in his culture, so you might want to see if there is a number you are comfortable with. $2,500. If the number you are comfortable with is $0, that is also okay. Am I the asshole for snapping at my mom and telling her to stop harassing people with her phone calls? Sorry for the formatting, typing this from my phone. I, 23 female, have an ongoing issue with my mother. I love her to death, but she thinks she's entitled to blow up someone's phone until they answer. She will call sometimes seconds after the first one when I answer, then call again within minutes. You get the idea. She's not just doing it to me, but it's other people as well, and I told her several times that she cannot just call and call people, but she just doesn't care. But for some odd reason she calls me the most. And the reason why she does this is, drumroll please, because my dad won't answer her calls. Due to an incident months ago, she's become possessive and will blow up my dad's phone to see if he's at work, home, etc., and expects me, her daughter, to keep tabs on a 55-year-old man. My dad works for a furniture company and is responsible for delivering and setting up furniture, picking up unpaid rentals, and it's not an easy job, and he could seriously injure himself due to distractions. My dad reverted to putting his phone on silent. I don't blame him, and my mom's behavior has escalated. When she does ask me to call him, I do it the first 2 times. My dad does answer sometimes. And if he doesn't answer or he tells me he's busy with work, I don't bother him. Or when I call and his phone goes straight to voicemail, I know it's dead and I still don't make any attempts to call again. My mom just doesn't care and will whine like a 5-year-old when I tell her to stop harassing me and other people about contacting dad. I myself have gotten to the point of rejecting her calls or snap at her for excessively calling me. I have no control over my dad answering his phone, and it's certainly not my responsibility to keep tabs on him. And before anyone says, just block her, I can't. I still live with my parents for now, and that's not an option. What is even worse is she blows up my phone when I'm with my boyfriend as well. So, Reddit, am I the asshole for snapping at my mom because she harasses me and others over excessive calling? Edit. Thank you guys so much for the responses and advice. I'm sorry I couldn't reply to everyone, but here are some things I forgot to mention. 1. I'm not an only child, but I'm the favorite child for my mom to dump her emotions on about my dad. 2. If anyone speculated that my mom's behavior comes from being cheated on, you are absolutely right. However, there is a major plot twist. She was going around telling people that she wanted a divorce, all because my dad, according to her, spends too much time with his siblings. One of his younger sisters died 2 years ago and he wants to spend time with the remaining siblings he has left. I feel like my mom's attitude rubs off as jealousy, as she doesn't have a relationship with any of her siblings. 3. For some saying my mom is mentally ill, she actually is. It's been getting worse over the years, but due to her religion, she is in complete denial and doesn't believe mental health is real. It's sad, honestly. 4. My dad and I have tried talking to her, she just does what she wants and has admitted several times that she calls me frequently. 5. The only person who puts up with this behavior is my boyfriend. Lord bless his soul. She doesn't call him, but she still blows up my phone when I'm with him regardless, and he is incredibly sweet and patient. She interrupts our dates a lot, but he doesn't mind. 6. I know I've said in some comments that I stopped silencing notifications out of guilt due to her breaking her foot and not being able to be there for her while I was sick myself. I am going to work on that. Not the asshole. She needs to learn how to respect people, their time, and their jobs. My God. Not the asshole. Your mom is being a bit much, to put it lightly. Can you just put your phone on silent and ignore her? I know that would be a pain in the ass. Not the asshole. You've got some really good comments below. Wait till she is asleep, occupied, and ring her every few minutes to tell her the weather or something. Experience is the best teacher. Set her ringtone to silent or beep once. Am I the asshole for kicking my roommate's not girlfriend out? Update. Mason and I sat down one-on-one to discuss the Abby issue. He apologized, realized that she has been here all the time and didn't realize it would be suffocating for me. He is still going to pay for this month's 75% utility and more rent. He told me he is now proactively helping Abby move out of her sister's house, who isn't great apparently. He said that Abby is still going to come around, but will only be here when he is around and max 3 days a week. Then he went quiet and I could tell he was waiting for an apology. Which I did. Lol. I appreciate the not the assholes, but I realized this is a everyone sucks here situation now. I apologized for the swearing, yelling and kicking her out. I informed him I will communicate very early on anything that is bothering me and will not let it simmer. We also discussed the food issue. Abby will not eat anything unless it is offered from now on. Then we called Abby and I apologized to her and she did me. Then we laughed because I scared her to death and was honored because that was the first time I blew up at anybody. We are getting drinks tomorrow. She is staying home today. Happy ending. Thanks everyone. Around the same time we were in the process of moving in. Let's call him Mason, M24, started hanging out with this girl, Abby, F23. She is cool and I, F25, like her as a friend, but I am wary around her since she doesn't want a boyfriend, and Mason is the boyfriend type, but none of my business. The problem is, whenever I wake up, she is here. Whenever I sleep, she is here. Whenever I get back from work, she is here. I pointed this out to Mason, he said he would handle it. I told him, utilities are not included, if they come high I am not paying 50%. He said it's okay. Fast forward to today, first utility bill. Surprise. It is high. I asked the receptionist if she has seen this utility bill for 2 people. She says it's more common for 3 or 4 people. I go upstairs and guess WHO is there. Not Mason. I tell Abby how the bill is high for 2 people and considering she has been here every day, we are splitting it 3 ways. She says no, she doesn't live here, to talk to Mason. And I explode. I tell her, you have been here every fucking morning, day, night. You are here more than Mason. You are freeloading and you are not even his girlfriend. Get the fuck out and don't come back unless you start paying rent. And take all your fucking clothes you have everywhere. Mason later sits me down and talks about how inappropriate that was and he was going to pay for 75% of the bill from the start. I tell him, I pay rent. This is my apartment too. She is not living here for free, I don't care if you cover for her. He says I am being unreasonable, that I am still paying what's fair. I say I don't care. Am I the asshole? TLDR. Roommates, not girlfriend, has been freeloading in our new apartment. Utility bill came high. I demanded she pay her share, she refused, kicked her out. Roommate said he would cover for her, but I don't care, I do not want her living here for free. Am I the asshole? Edit. I want to clarify something. Mason and I are completely platonic. Friends for 8+ years, nothing has ever happened between us and there's no attraction there. I have my own thing going on. Not the asshole you moved in with 1 roommate, not 2. He doesn't have the right to move a second roommate in regardless of how much he pays. Having said that, as long as she is there, you should demand he pays 2/3 RDS of the rent as well. Absolutely not the asshole. I was in this exact same situation with my sister and her not partner. He was there when she was at work. Like it's not even about the cost, then it's about your space and a change in the living situation than what you signed up for moving in. She was very much living with you. Good for you for kicking her out, not the asshole. Not the asshole. Then he starts paying 2/3 of the rent and everything if he wants her to stay, because that is the only way he can have her over as often as he does. Not the asshole. If he wanted her to move in as a roommate, then you should have discussed it. This slow creep is not acceptable and you handled it appropriately.